This film demonstrates how Frontier ESG Advisory sees the potential of operationalized ESG or impact investing as a symbiotic and sustainable financial management tool for the important frontier and emerging markets. When operationalized effectively on the ground, ESG and impact investing has the capability to affect climate change and other threats to real-world sustainability, whilst at the same time increasing the resilience, financial performance, and the value of its investments. This film also demonstrates how this can be practically achieved by both investors and sovereign hosts on the ground, using a specialized system designed by Frontier ESG Advisory to deliver it. These images show the wealth of our natural investment landscape and how we utilize it. Some are positive examples and some are negative. What they also demonstrate, however, is that we have the intelligence and technical ability to draw upon this natural wealth, both economically and sustainably. It's not an either-or situation. We can achieve both. To do so, however, we must be sure that we are making the right decisions about our capital and that we are achieving the dual outcomes of sustainability and competitive growth. My name is Ian Saunders, the CEO and founder of Frontier ESG Advisory Limited and the architect of the InveSTABLE System. The human race has evolved over the last 300,000 years to a point where we now have a direct impact on the ability of our planet to continue providing the level of resources and ecosystem services that we need. Remarkably, we have reached this point in only the last 10 generations, only since the Industrial Revolution, which changed the way we would live forever. These same advancements have also led to our greater understanding of the Earth's planetary boundaries, their importance to the world's natural stability, and how that same stability provides the platform essential for our social and commercial growth. Only through greater tangible application of our knowledge and capabilities, however, can we adjust and manage our impact to achieve an optimum balance for progress and for profit. This virtuous relationship affects both our lives and our business, whether selling goats in a rural market or sourcing and delivering global energy. They help to shape our societies and our thinking. Today, more than ever before, the success of business decisions are influenced by the reactions of investors, partners, communities, and governments, who now collectively shape both the value and sustainability of a deal or investment. This commercial and cultural shift has prompted a change in how we do business and how we invest our capital. Compliance regulations and metrics into ESG, impact, sustainable, and green investment funds are mandatory and must be transparent. These new investment products demonstrate a realization that real changes have to be implemented tangibly if we want to maintain the environmental and human stability that in turn supports resilient investment landscapes and viable global markets. The elephant in the room, however, is, are we currently walking the walk or just talking the talk? On initially learning about ESG, I was struck by the parallels between its aims and what is required as a matter of course when doing business in the frontier and emerging markets, where I've spent most of my life. In these rapidly evolving global markets, an environmental commitment and cultural alignment are business critical considerations for foreign investments wishing to adjust risk and enhance investment resilience. Best relevant practice and profit are not mutually exclusive in a world where the occupants of a rural town or village now have the power to close down a multi-billion-dollar investment almost overnight. So with regards to ESG and impact investing then, my first reaction was that it appeared to be tailor-made for the frontier and emerging markets. It became clear, however, that this form of investing still had a long way to go, not least as it still meant different things to many different people. For example, there is ESG investing in the established markets, where the relevant data is available on commercial databases, drawing from various sources relating to an identified fund, company, or investment activity. This data lives primarily within the domain of a spreadsheet, with pre-investment compliance being measured on the basis of sustainable past performance or the written agreement or adherence to global initiatives or compacts. This could be defined as a form of reputational ESG sustainable profiling. Compliance, of course, is a minimum requirement and not a robust building block for the sustainable shaping of an investment space, where enhancing contract resilience, the augmenting of investment growth, the proactive alignment of partners, the adjustment of risk, and the tackling of climate change are now all essential and enabling factors for investment value. But it is a starting point, and that's a vital requirement. Such factors become heightened considerations across the ESG investments in the frontier and emerging markets, where countries face more tangible challenges, and simple compliance is just not enough. Relationships have to be managed on a daily, multi-level basis, and partnership alignment maintained constantly to sustainably shape holistic investment landscapes. In these emerging economies, the practicing of proactive, real-world ESG activity is culturally far more critical to the success of any business or investment than it is in the established markets. In the frontier and emerging markets, the actual process of collating the all-important ESG data is as important as the data itself, being the vehicle for engagement, relationship building, and partnership alignment. Despite the importance of these global markets and their need for new investment, however, this approach has yet to be fully and positively utilized as a tool for sustainable delivery. This form of operationalized ESG is where the benefits of the non-financial returns are operationalized sustainably to safeguard the financial returns. To reap both the financial and ESG benefits for all involved, however, operational capacity has to be created in-house, not only from an investment delivery perspective, but from the sovereign's perspective also. The first sovereign to demonstrate a fully functional national ESG or sustainable investment strategy will be at the front of the queue for investment capital from the rapidly growing global sustainable markets. This realization was the driver for the launching of Frontier ESG Advisory Limited and the development of the InveSTABLE System, specifically designed to create the operational capability for investment and sovereign clients to deliver concurrent investment profit and sustainable value across the frontier and emerging markets. The InveSTABLE System is based on my experiences living, working, and investing alongside people of all backgrounds across the frontier and emerging states over the last 30 years. Having testified twice at US congressional hearings on Africa and at numerous global conferences, being one of the architects of the first democratic elections in Afghanistan, and having operated from the village to the national policymaker level, I was surprised to learn that ESG investing wasn't being utilized more effectively. I discovered that there wasn't even an accepted approach to delivery. The InveSTABLE System has been designed specifically for the frontier and emerging ESG markets. As a veteran, I drew upon my experience of military management structures and processes that have since migrated into modern business practices. My time working alongside political figures and managing political events in Africa and Central Asia brought knowledge of indigenous official requirements and the importance of cultural diplomacy. Developing and managing businesses in Africa provided insights and the experience into how new or foreign investments are viewed by sovereign governments and indeed local workforces, and how those views influence partnership alignment, contract resilience, and ultimately investment growth. My years in the development and environmental sectors have exposed me to the pressures and requirements essential to achieving sustainability, from the importance of community-owned conservation, addressing climate change, and the concept of planetary boundaries. With this in mind, the InveSTABLE System has been designed as a 6-phased product to develop the capabilities of an investment client to proactively manage, influence, and report on the sustainability of an investment on the ground, addressing both the human and environmental challenges that are critical to an investment landscape, such as food security, water management, and climate change, whilst simultaneously harnessing that positive output to build greater investment resilience and value. This is done by operationalizing the ESG fundamentals to shape an investment space and maintain it to be both sustainable and supportive of the investment, rather than it being an island surrounded by a sea of human and environmental incompatibility. InveSTABLE is a scalable and bespoke system, depending on the size and requirements of each investment. Each phase brings together the relevant InveSTABLE specialists and the client's investment requirements, taking into consideration the important elements of delivering across the frontier and emerging countries and the all-important cultural intelligence that is required for it to be successful. Ultimately, crafting a roadmap, database, and in-house capability for the client, able to deliver optimum sustainability and value throughout the life of the investment. The InveSTABLE system develops a proactive capability for an investor or a sovereign to shape and coordinate an investment landscape, taking it from a fragile to a sustainable growth-supported investment space, harnessing the operational investment value essential in the frontier and emerging markets that the non-financial ESG returns have the capacity to provide. After 300,000 years of evolution and 10 generations of excessive wear and tear, it's time to apply some preventive maintenance to our natural capital and operationalize our knowledge so that as investors we can continue to evolve economically and sustainably, ensuring risk-adjusted value over the long term. The InveSTABLE system has been specifically designed to do just this.